Hello, 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 hello. We are live. You are live watching this week's Everyday English lesson right here on English Outside the Box's YouTube channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Jennifer Nascimento. So first things first, today's live lesson is earlier than normal. It is about 30 minutes earlier than when we usually do this lesson. That's because I am rushing out the door, means I'm leaving very quickly to go to the airport to pick up some family. I am so excited to be going to pick up some family. I still wanted to do an English lesson for you today, even though it's early. And I thought this would be an amazing time to teach you airport-related vocabulary. So what we're going to learn today is airport-related vocabulary. And we're going to go through some natural sentences. I'm going to give it some context related to some of this vocabulary. If you're watching live, awesome. You can try and create some sentences to practice the vocabulary we're talking about today. And if you're watching the replay, you can also practice with some sentences below this video in your notebook or wherever you may be practicing English. So first, if you're joining live, say hello, say where you're watching from, and it's good to have some familiar faces back. If you are thinking, oh my gosh, Jennifer, I missed your live lesson. I thought it started at 8:30. You are right. Our everyday English lessons do start at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time in Los Angeles. So today we are 30 minutes early. However, that is the reason why you should turn on the notifications, because I might surprise you. So welcome. We have Brazil, Colombia, Guatemala. Awesome. And Brazil. All right, so let's talk about airport vocabulary. I'm going to start with the biggest vocabulary mistake that I hear my students say all the time. When you go on a flight, when you go into an airplane to travel, you have to buy a ticket. You can buy a ticket online, you can go to a travel agency, but you get a ticket. That ticket is called a ticket, a plane ticket, or an airline ticket. However, the most common vocabulary word for that ticket, for that piece of paper or reservation, is called a flight, not a flight ticket. Never, never, never say, I have a flight ticket, because that is incorrect. So you want to say, I bought my ticket. I bought my airline ticket. I bought my plane ticket, or most commonly, I bought my flight. I bought my flight. And my flight, your flight, is the ticket, the reservation, the journey you are going to be traveling by plane. All right. So that's the most important vocabulary word I want to start off this lesson with and talk about. So let's talk about a couple of common phrasal verbs you'll need at the airport. You can check in to your flight when you arrive. You check in at a counter, and you check in for a flight when you say, hey, I'm here. And you check your baggage, you get your tickets, you print your boarding pass, and when you begin the process of your journey, that is checking in. Now, maybe somebody brought you to the airport. Maybe they dropped you off. Maybe they dropped you off. If someone drops you off, that means they leave you at the airport. They take you to the airport and leave you there so you can get on the plane. Somebody can park and walk you inside, or really commonly, people can drop you off curbside. C-U-R-B-S-I-D-E, curbside. And when someone drops you off curbside, that means they drop you off on the street, usually in some kind of round circular street on the curb, which is like the sidewalk. The opposite of dropping someone off is picking someone up. when somebody goes to get somebody from the airport to bring them home or to bring them away from the airport. All right. So when you are checking into your flight, you often have to check in your baggage. Now, airlines and airports often use the term baggage. Baggage. However, baggage can also mean luggage or your suitcase. So you might hear it being used differently. You might hear baggage, luggage, or your suitcase. Now, every airline has a baggage allowance. The allowance is the amount of luggage, the amount of suitcases that you're allowed to bring. Sometimes there's an allowance to check in a bag, and sometimes there's an allowance to carry on a bag. Your carry-on, the baggage that you bring onto the plane, is called a carry-on bag. It's smaller and it usually fits under the seat or in the overhead bin. So when you're checking into your flight, the person at the counter may ask, how many bags do you have to check? Do you have a carry-on? And they might ask you to put it in a basket that looks at the size. They might put it on the scale to check the weight because there's always a weight limit. Shout out to Brazil, who has like the biggest baggage weight limit allowance that I've ever seen. All right. So what are you guys thinking? Keep trying to use this vocabulary in the live chat and try to create some sentences, and we'll try our best to review some of these and give you some feedback. So we talked a little bit about checking in, your baggage, your check-in bag or your carry-on bag. Let's talk a little bit about your weight limit. So sometimes a bag weighs too much. Then it is overweight or it is over the limit. And you often have to pay a fine or you pay an overweight fee. An overweight fee. All right, the weight limit does vary by country, by airline, whether it's an international flight or a domestic flight. A domestic flight is a flight within your country. I have notes here to make sure. So after you check in, you usually need to print your boarding pass. Another piece of paper that's going to tell you where your terminal is and where your gate is. Now, some airports are huge and they have a lot of different terminals. Sometimes you even have to take a shuttle or a subway or some kind of trolley or bus to the different terminals. This is when you can do a transfer. You have to transfer terminals. And again, your terminal is the area in the airport where your plane is, where your gate is. And the gate is where you walk through to get on to board the plane. Another very, very, very important piece of information that you need in English for the airport is to know about your boarding time. Now, the verb to board, B-O-A-R-D, means to get on the plane. So you have a boarding time. This boarding time is when you get onto the plane, you sit down, and you get ready to take off. You get ready to go. So you have to always check your boarding time, and you have to make sure your boarding time is on time, meaning it's starting at the time that it is scheduled, because sometimes a boarding time can be delayed or late. Okay, so then we have your to board. We've talked about your carry-on. Your carry-on is going to go in your overhead bin or underneath the seat. You're often going to be greeted by your flight attendants. Your flight attendants are the men and women who work on the plane and help you on the plane, giving you drinks, giving you information, teaching you about the safety information, passing out food and water. It's the person who is helping you on the plane. And that was pretty much everything. So another important vocabulary, some other important vocabulary you need for the airport is knowing that when you're driving to the airport and you need to pick someone up or drop someone off, you need to know, are they arriving? Are they an arrival? Or are they departing? Are they in the departure? So there are departures, people who are leaving, and there are arrivals, people who are coming. Arrivals is really easy to know because it's to arrive, to come to a place. Whew, so that was a lot of vocabulary, and that's pretty much everything that we're going to review today. Good job, Eduardo, for writing all of these vocabulary words that you heard today. The time when a plane leaves the ground and begins to fly is takeoff. Resolva, resolva, yes. Is shuttle a verb too or only a bus? You can shuttle someone or something, but shuttle in the airport vocabulary is often used as a noun like a bus or a trolley. Great question, Adriana. B, drop off, check in. Let's see, is there anyone else that has a question or yes, arrivals? Awesome. All right. So this lesson was quick. I spoke really, really quickly. I almost spoke as naturally as I would in a natural native conversation. So maybe this video was extra challenging because it was a lot of potentially possible new vocabulary, and I spoke at a quick pace. I spoke very quickly, but don't worry. The lesson notes are going to be available for this lesson today on my website. My website is EnglishOutsideTheBox.com. When you go to EnglishOutsideTheBox.com, click on blog or free lesson, and you will be able to review today's lesson notes. You'll be able to watch the video replay. You'll be able to read the sentence examples that you heard today, and there will be some practice exercises, some questions to think about, and some questions to answer on your own to practice and use this new vocabulary. Okay? So if you're feeling a little, this was too fast, then make sure you go to my website later and you can read the full lesson notes. While you're on the website or while you're waiting for those lesson notes, there are hundreds of other videos that you can watch on this YouTube channel, and there are plenty of lessons that you can read and review on my website. So if you're looking for some extra learning resources today, you're at the right place. English Outside the Box. I will help you out. So we're going to wrap up this live lesson, which means we are going to finish. But remember, you can find me next week right here on this YouTube channel at 8:30 a.m. PST, Pacific time. That is the same time zone, the same time as Los Angeles. So you can check your city's time zone and compare it to 8:30 a.m. in Los Angeles. As a reminder, today we are early. So if this is your first time watching this lesson, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are early today, so next week, make sure you come at 8:30. However, subscribe to this channel and click on the notifications and you'll get an email whenever I'm live, maybe if I'm early or if I do a surprise lesson. For all of you who are a repeat watcher, for all of you who come every single week and watch this live lesson, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Thanks for learning with me every week. You guys rock. I'll see you next week, and if you have any questions, let me know. Don't forget to practice below this video. Write comments, participate, use this new language. And if you want to say thank you, then tell someone about this YouTube channel today. Share it on your Facebook page. Share it with someone you know, and let me help people around the world. You guys rock. Thanks again. I'm heading off to the airport to pick up people in the terminal. I'm trying to push the vocabulary, but you got it. I'll see you guys next week for your everyday English lesson. Happy studying. Bye.